Hey, you're listening to Witchy Spiritual Stuff with your host, me, Elementally. Today's topic is actually pretty beginner friendly. It's how to do a yes or no tarot reading for quick answers. While a tarot card reading can be a complex and immersive ritual, it can also be a simple moment of self-reflection. A yes or no tarot reading is ideal for getting insights into life's daily events, as opposed to a full tarot spread that delves into grander inquiries. Here's how to perform this type of tarot reading to achieve clarity about your simple questions. How to answer yes or no questions with tarot. To discover a simple yes or no, you need only draw a single card. As with a full tarot spread, it's important to set your intention. Yes or no tarot readings are ideal for short-term questions, such as making decisions about a low-level aspect of your daily life. Should I buy this stock? Would it be a good idea to bike to work today? Determining the most likely outcome about an upcoming scenario. Will I get the promotion? Will I meet someone interesting at the networking event? Seeking straightforward advice about a common life situation, resolving a quarrel, applying to a new job, etc. What is a yes or no tarot reading? Yes or no readings are not ideal for multifaceted questions or complex situations. For example, trying to rekindle an old romance is going to bring up feelings and challenges, and it may be wise to do a full tarot reading first. Then you can perform a yes or no reading just to see if you should reach out to that person. Consider the yes or no readings a short-term choice that connects to the overall trajectory of your life. Yes or no readings also don't offer clear insights into long-term changes or situations, such as, will I have a successful career? Or, will I ever find my soulmate? But how do you answer yes or no tarot? Well, these technically have yes or no answers, and they are beyond the scope that a single card can pull and get answered. Also, avoid phrasing the question as an either or asking a multi-part question. You're going to achieve greater clarity and more accurate answers if you keep your question direct and simple. It's important to consider your tarot reading as an opportunity for insights, not the sole determination of your fate. Each situation has the potential for change. Your yes or no tarot reading simply tells you whether outcomes are favorable or unfavorable, or whether or not you should or you would make this certain choice that's going to work for you. Does yes or no tarot work? Well, when you're posing your question, you need to keep it neutral in order to get it to work. An overly negative or positive bias is going to make it harder to interpret the card. For example, if you ask, am I going to get fired? A yes would be upsetting, but a no could be misleading. Example, if your job security isn't favorable, but you're not going to be terminated, a better and more neutral question would be, should I start looking for a new job? A classic tarot card reading typically interprets cards depending on their orientation. The reversed hermit has a different meaning than the upright hermit card, like that. In a yes or no reading, though, you have two methods for interpreting meanings in a single card pull. So the big question that a lot of people want to know is, how do you ask tarot cards a question? All the cards can be read in terms of their upright meaning, then interpreted as a yes or no. For example, the Five of Pentacles cards generally signifies good fortunes when reversed and misfortune when upright. But in a yes or no tarot, it usually means no matter its direction. The other way you can do this is take the orientation of the card as its meaning. Upright cards mean yes and reverse cards mean no. Whichever method you're going to use depends on your personal preference and just your own tarot traditions. To perform your reading, create a quiet space where you can set your intention. You seek clarity and guidance for a specific short-term situation. Keep a pen and a piece of paper handy to reflect upon the reading. To do a simple yes or no tarot spread, form your question in a neutral, unambiguous, and actionable way. Open your mind to deeper insights rather than wishing for a certain outcome. Then focus on your question. Some people find it helpful to pull a significator, which is a card that symbolizes your question. For example, if you're posing a yes or no question about your relationship, you may use the Lovers as your significator. This grounds you as you interpret the card that you pull for your answer. Ensure that your deck is fully shuffled. Then draw your card. Depending on your interpretation method and your tarot philosophy, you may then determine your answer. Which tarot cards mean yes or no? Well, all tarot cards carry diverse and fluid meanings. You can interpret each one differently depending on the question, how it's asked, and how the card is drawn. Cards also interact with each other to provide further context and clarity. Do reversals in tarot mean yes or no? This is up to the reader. But what it does do is makes it so that you have to make that decision and then do a more complex tarot spread after you've gotten that initial answer to understand the answer that you get. A full tarot spread provides nuanced insights into complex situations, including major life changes and deeper inquiries about the universe. How do you read tarot cards all by yourself? Well, it's not as simple as identifying the card as a yes or no. But if you ask an unambiguous and specific question, it can unveil a clearer answer even from a single card, depending on its connotations and symbolism. So once you have a clear, small scope question in mind, you can interpret like the major arcana, like the Fool, the Magician, the Empress, the Emperors, the Lovers, Strength, Star, Sun, and World is a yes. But the Hermit, the Death card, the Devil, the Tower, and the Moon are no cards. So it just depends on your question. A no may mean that the situation is unfavorable or that you should avoid a certain path. Some cards are more prescriptive than others. For example, the Devil always signifies a hard no to your question. As life is complicated and answers aren't always clear, there are some cards in the major arcana that suggest a maybe, like the High Priestess, the Wheel of Fortune, or Judgment all indicate yes, but with caveats where Temperance, the Hanged Man, and Justice actually lean a little toward no with like a possible and eventual yes. Over time, you're going to develop your own intuition and learn how to interpret the cards to be more clear. Some people also pull a second card just to add some context to the first reading, especially if their initial pull yields one of those maybe cards. Others interpret the major and minor arcana differently, taking the former to have the biggest impact, while the smaller court cards add context or nuance to the bigger reading. So you have to do what feels best for you and your introspective needs. Many find it helpful to create their own list of card meanings just for them. Most people use a single card pull to perform a yes or no reading, but if you feel this method doesn't suit you, or if you'd like a more specific answer, you can do a tarot spread to answer your yes or no question with more clarification cards. So like with a single pull, you set your intention and you pose a neutral, unambiguous, and focused question. Shuffle your deck. Then you pull a card and place it to your left. Continue to focus on your question as you pull a second card and place it in the center. And then you pull your third card to the right. You unveil all cards and interpret them in succession. With this method, you generally interpret the overall answer as the sum of the card's individual yes or no meanings. If 2 out of the 3 cards signify yes, the outcome will likely be favorable. A combination of 1 yes, 1 no, and 1 maybe generally will point to an unfavorable outcome. But if you're still not sure, you may pull a 4th or even a 5th card. Always pull an odd number of cards to avoid ties so that you get a more clear answer. What you need to know, though, is as you learn more about the card's meanings and refine your own tarot practice, you're going to discover more nuanced yes or no answers. For example, pulling the High Priestess often signifies yes, but after you reflect on the situation and you see past hidden truths, you're going to start wondering some things. Your tarot readings are ultimately up to you. You may choose how to pull and interpret cards for a yes or no questions, but You're going to also have to rely on the true meanings of the card as well, but each card reading is an opportunity to reflect and tap into your own personal intuition, even if the answer isn't a straightforward yes or no. Have fun reading your tarot cards. I'll see you soon. Bye.